The all-decade team for the 2010s has been revealed, and as a couple of football dorks, how about we just pick teams? We'll play it out on Madden.
Sounds good. That's the only fair way to do this.
But there's only two positions. There's only two quarterbacks. So once you take a quarterback, I automatically get the other guy. We're not going to do anything where I take both quarterbacks and try to be cute. But that being said, I will give you the first pick.
I may think outside the box here. I'm going to take Aaron Donald.
Oh.
You're talking about a guy who by himself is a house wrecker.
My first pick is going to be Devin Hester.
Ooh.
The reason is because it doesn't matter. All these players are great. You're going to end up with a great player. If you get Rodgers or Brady, it doesn't matter. But the difference between Devin Hester, and no disrespect to Cordero Patterson, who's great, but the difference between those two is vast. Devin Hester, one of the most dangerous players in the NFL back in the day. So Marcus, you can mark it down. You have Patterson.
My next pick, I might as well take the best tight end on the board. So I'm going to go Gronk here.
Oh my gosh. That was my number 2 player on my board. So I'm going to obviously get Kelsey, but why would you pick Gronk over Kelsey?
He was a more complete tight end. Everybody obviously thinks about him as a pass catcher and the touchdowns and the Gronk spike, but he was as much an integral part of that running game as anybody there. Having him on the end of the line, blocking, setting things up, opening holes, really helped move that offense along. And then of course all the touchdowns and the Gronk spike and all that stuff too there. So I went Gronk. I think he's just a more complete player than Kelsey.
That's true. I would have gone Gronk with my next pick, but I'm definitely not going to be too bummed about having Travis Kelsey. I don't want to come off like too much of a Bears homer to go back-to-back Bears, but I'm going to go with Khalil Mack.
I knew you would, yeah.
Think about how disruptive he's been in the league, playing for the Raiders for all those years, coming to Chicago and in his first game, making an immediate impact, and it seemed like the Bears were destined to go to the Super Bowl that season. So that's going to kick it back over to you.
This is a passing league. We all know that. It has been for at least a decade or more now. But on top of that, in order to compete, you have to have guys in the secondary that can lock down and play defense. And for that reason, I'm spending my next pick on Mr. Revis Island himself, Darrelle Revis. I'm taking him right there.
Yeah, one of the best cornerbacks in the game. Kids these days don't remember how impossible it was to throw against Revis. I like the idea of going defense here as well, but with having Khalil Mack, I'm going to bookend him with Von Miller. I think with Khalil Mack and Von Miller, I have two guys that obviously get towards the quarterback. We know how instrumental Von Miller was with Super Bowl 50, getting Peyton Manning a Super Bowl.
All right, that's fair. Let's see, where should I go here? I might as well. I think I'm going to stay on the defensive side of the football here. I'm going to go, and maybe this is me being a bit of a 49er homer, but I'm going to go Patrick Willis. And I know the career was maybe a little bit shorter than I think a lot of people would have anticipated, but man, you want to talk about a guy who was so good for the period that he played in the league. And I think that's why it made it so shocking to so many people when he retired, when he did, because he really was lights out playing the center of the field for the 49ers. So I'm going to take him and kind of solidify one of that linebacker spots.
You know what? I'm going to go with Bobby Wagner. Let's just make it super. I'm going to go with all my linebackers. I'm just going to load up on that position. You get the rest of the dudes now.
All right. So that means I get Chandler Jones and Luke Kuechly.
Which is great.
I'm okay with that.
I'm
okay with that.
You know what, though? I just think Bobby Wagner is such a dynamic playmaker, and I think that when we talk about the Legion of Boom and that Seahawks defense, there was a lot of great players on that team, including one other guy who was on the list with Richard Sherman. But Bobby Wagner, to me, was the most instrumental guy, the guy who really made it go. He wasn't the dude who got the headlines. I think that putting him with Khalil Mack and Von Miller, I'm very excited about this.
I love your pass rushers between Mack and Miller. I'm okay with Aaron Donald and Chandler Jones. I don't feel bad about that, but your pass rushing is pretty solid. I'm going to go Antonio Brown here.
Oh!
I know that right now people sort of look at Antonio and the way he kind of left the league recently leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. But let's not forget that at his peak, Antonio Brown, we were talking about him among the all-time greats. The stuff he was doing was Jerry Rice, Randy Moss. It was that level of consistency and production.
I always said that of the last 20 years, Antonio Brown was the best receiver. If you look at his top 4 years compared to the other guys you would put in that class with him, including Moss, Megatron, Larry Fitz, and all the guys like that, Antonio Brown was on another level. That was actually going to be the next guy on my list, but since you went wide receiver, I'm going to go with the running back, and I'm going to get the running back who I want. I'm going to go with Marshawn Lynch.
Ooh.
You know this. If we're playing this game and I get down to the 2-yard line, I am running the ball with Marshawn.
Wait, you're not going to throw a slant?
No slant. You look at his career, and obviously you think of his time with the Seattle Seahawks. It was memorable. He was a good player for the Bills, too.
I'm going to go Adrian Peterson here because, I mean, you talk about a guy who was like, people refer to him as a cyborg. I mean, this is a guy who tore his ACL, came back, and ran for 2,000 yards. I mean, that's how insane he was at his peak.
So you got a good running back. I got a good running back. I don't have a receiver yet, so I'm going to go with Julio of this list. I love all these guys, and really, I was of the mind to just let you pick another dude, but I'm like, I really want to go out and get Julio Jones. The one thing that I like about Julio is the one thing that people will knock about him is his lack of touchdowns. And they look at him and they go, oh, Julio, laugh out loud, lols, bro. Like, that guy's got no touch. But really, like, it is not his fault. Him not getting touchdowns is not for a lack of effort. And if he was in a system that would concentrate more on throwing the ball when they get into the red zone. You think of some of the good red zone quarterbacks over the last decade, and you think of like when the Packers get near the goal line, they throw the ball a lot. If Julio Jones was in that type of system and was getting double-digit touchdowns every year, I think that a lot of people might recognize Julio as the second best receiver in NFL history right behind Jerry Rice, and some might even have made the argument that he's better than Rice.
I feel like it's about time for me to start building my offensive line a little bit here. I feel like whatever I do at quarterback, I'm going to be fine. But I want to make sure I have somebody who can protect my quarterback's blind side. And I'm going to take Ty Smith. I'm going to take Tyron Smith. I was wavering. I didn't know if I wanted to go there or somewhere else, but I'm going to go and be the USC homer. I'm going to take Tyron Smith for one of my tackles.
You know what, Marcus? I'll be a little bit of a homer as well. And I'm going to go with one of our coworkers. I'm going to go Joe Thomas.
That was my other option. That's who I was going back and forth between.
I really would have picked the guy that you didn't draft, but I think that I'm very comfortable going with Joe Thomas. Obviously, one of the best players to ever do it.
I'm gonna go back to wide receiver, and look, I can't lose here, but I'm gonna take Megatron to pair with Antonio Brown. Go Calvin Johnson, fill out my wide receiver spots, and move on from there.
That means I get Larry Fitzgerald automatically, and so I love it. The one thing about Larry, I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna have Julio and Larry Fitz, who, again, you look at what he's been able to do. I know that a lot of people, and I know that we used to work with a guy who was a former Cardinals employee, and I remember that watching the Super Bowl with him against the Steelers, where he was like, you know what, Larry Fitz never makes big plays. It's Anquan's the guy. And then, I'm not kidding, like 30 seconds later, Larry Fitz makes that catch again. It should have won the game, unfortunately.
Should have won the game, but Santonio Holmes, whatever.
And you think of the great comeback, too, by Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs against the Cardinals, and then Carson Palmer, I don't know what he was doing. They get the ball back. I think it was in overtime. So they get the ball back. He blindly just throws the ball to Larry Fitzgerald, who takes it all the way down to the 3. And you're like, oh my gosh, you're like, they got to score. They got to score. Because Rodgers had 2 Hail Marys just to send the game into overtime. And you're like, oh my gosh. So the Cardinals have to score a touchdown. And then Carson Palmer comes up, shovel passes to Larry Fitz. The fitting ending.
Which was only fitting. It was only right.
Only fitting. Give him that opportunity. So Larry Fitz. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna close out running back. I'm gonna go with LaShawn McCoy. I think the pick goes back to me though, because I think
it does. Yes.
People will probably not remember how great he was, especially with the Philadelphia Eagles. This guy was so great catching the football out of the backfield. I'm so happy that he made this list. I thought that there were a lot of running backs that could have made a claim, and I was really curious about who the running backs were going to be. Of course, you get Frank Gore because we're closing out the position, but I thought LaShawn McCoy in his prime was probably, if not the best player in the league, he was one of the top 3. The guy was so good. And so I'm glad he got recognized here, and I'm happy to bring him onto a team with Marshawn Lynch.
I'm going to go get Julius Peppers right here.
Damn it!
I want to get somebody off the edge that can get to the passer a little bit, because your pass rush is already pretty fierce. So I need something to kind of bolster it. So I have Chandler Jones. I got Aaron Donald. Now I'm going to have Julius Peppers to kind of help me get some pressure on the quarterback. Let's not forget what a freak athlete Peppers was. I mean, on top of being a amazing football player for a long time. I mean, let's not forget he played basketball at the University of North Carolina to go along with this. I mean, he's just a freakish athlete, and I'm certainly glad to welcome him onto my team.
I got to go with a cornerback here. I'm really torn about which guy that I want to take, because there are 2 great corners still available. Actually, there's 3 great cornerbacks still available. I really do believe I'm going to go with Richard Sherman, who is one of my favorite players in the game. When he was with the Seahawks, Obviously, he was one of the best cornerbacks in the business, but then, he took a risk going to San Francisco. People maligned him for being the agent of his own contract. He bet on himself, and it came through in 2019. He was the Richard Sherman that we all knew and we all loved. We loved the swagger. We loved the ability. He's a high character guy, a Stanford graduate. I definitely want this guy on my team.
I'm going to finish out the interior of my defensive line, and I'm just going to take Ndamukong Suh. Let's just do it. Two guys who played together with the Rams, two guys who at their best are just guys who just will blow up the interior of the line, can not only get after the quarterback, can stuff the run as well. So I'm gonna go Ndamukong Suh and get my other defensive tackle here.
I'm really happy with Fletcher Cox and Geno Atkins. I feel so bad for Geno Atkins. Like, oh my God, playing on that. You are so good every year. I feel so bad for you being there on that team. He is such a solid player. Like, he deserves better. Like, some team, like, send him to the Patriots. Let him go out and do his thing. And of course, Fletcher Cox, again, great presence in the middle.
It's your pick now because I just took Sue.
You know what? I'm going to go with the guard. I'm going to go with Logan Mankins.
Oh.
I want to be able to build one half of my line. I think if we could put Joe Thomas and Logan Mankins together, I think that'd be pretty formidable.
Well, if that's the case, then I'll just go Marshall Yanda and get one of my guards spots locked up as well. I mean, a guy who had a long, outstanding career there in Baltimore.
Let's lock out the guard position. I'll take Zach Martin.
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna finish out my tackle spot, and I'm gonna take Joe Staley, who has just been a stalwart for the 49ers for all these years. So I will have Joe Staley anchor the other end of my offensive line and protect my quarterback. We haven't even picked a quarterback yet. So I'll take whoever my quarterback's gonna be.
It's like playing fantasy football where we're like, whatever, these two quarterbacks, it does sort of matter, but it doesn't really matter. But of course, because you took Joe Staley, I get Jason Peters, which I'm extremely happy with. I kind of would have drafted him anyways. I think that one of the great things about the Eagles over the years, they do a really nice job on both lines. I'm going to move to the defensive side of the football, so if you just close it out. I'm going to go with Earl Thomas. Marcus, you'll probably remember this. When Pete Carroll took over as coach of the Seattle Seahawks, his first draft had Earl Thomas available. When everybody was going through and they were like, oh, they were doing mock drafts and everything, and like, oh, Pete Carroll's going to bring Taylor Mays because Seattle had a need at the safety position. And instead, he drafted Earl Thomas. And a lot of people are like, how could you draft this guy who helped beat you in the national championship game and bring him on your team? But I think that he made the right pick, obviously. And he's been one of the best. And Earl Thomas still goes out and gets it done, even as a member of the Ravens. But Earl Thomas personifies what a safety should be.
Well, I'm going to go another defensive back, and I'm going to go with the Honey Badger. I'm going to take Tyrann Mathieu. Technically, I guess he's listed as a defensive back.
I actually wanted to draft the Honey Badger because he's got that versatility. And so, of course, I was trying to pick between Patrick Peterson and Sherman earlier. You know what, though? I still want Chris Harris Jr. So I'm going to give you Patrick Peterson.
Okay.
There was a stretch where you could make the argument he was the best cornerback in the game. People did not want to test him. So I will sit there and lock him in next to Richard Sherman, or across from Richard Sherman, I should say.
Well, I'm going to just go and take Eric Berry. Just to finish my defensive backfield there. Take Eric Berry. And I know that, it's been frustrating because he just hasn't been able to stay healthy throughout his career.
I'm going to make sure that I don't get stuck with Aaron Rodgers. So I just want to take Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. I don't think that there should be any debate about this. And you think about how many different ways he's been able to beat teams. You can't argue with the 6 Super Bowl championships. I'm going to go with Tom Brady. I don't want Aaron Rodgers. He's all yours. Enjoy that. Enjoy him holding on to the football too long, doing whatever. You want to play a game in October against the Lions? There is no quarterback I would rather have than Aaron Rodgers. But when we're playing for a championship, you give me Tom Brady.
I'm going to just finish out my defensive side of the ball, and we're going to go with Justin James Watt, who, just has been a complete beast for the Houston Texans. Talk about a guy who does everything, who gets after the quarterback, who stops the run, who swats passes down. I'll never forget, that episode that season of Hard Knocks that they followed the Houston Texans and Watt from like a yard away catching balls out of a jugs machine one-handed, which was just insane to me.
That's a tremendous pick. I actually had Calais Campbell very high on my draft board, but I thought I could wait on him, get a value pick for him. So obviously I did. I also get Cam Jordan. I'm going to go take my coach. I'm going to take Bill Belichick. You know, this whole thing about like, hey, he would have won with any coach. Yeah, I'm not gonna test it here. I'll take Belichick. You're gonna have Pete Carroll. You have your USC guy. I love Pete Carroll. That's fine.
I'm gonna just go take a punt return. I'm gonna go get Tyreek Hill. Put the cheetah back there.
Yeah, so I get Darren Sproles, which I'm certainly not going to be mad at. I thought that, you know, when you think of those Charger teams and how much success they would have against the Indianapolis Colts and beating Peyton Manning, a big reason why was Darren Sproles out there doing his thing. So I'm happy with that. Speaking of the specialist, I will go with Gostkowski. I know that Tucker is probably the better pick, but I think since I have Brady, since I have Belichick, I should probably finish it off with having Gostkowski.
All right. So let's see. Let's go Alex Mack, who has just been a stalwart for Atlanta for years, right there in the center of the line. Just the consistency that he's had for years, year after year. I think the good thing about an offensive lineman is when you don't talk about him a whole lot, and generally speaking, you don't really talk about Alex Mack a whole lot because he just is there year after year, week after week doing his job, and I will put him in the center of my line and feel very good about it.
And I will feel great with Marquise Pouncey, one of the best centers in the game. That leaves just the punter, so I'll thank you for that. I love getting a punter. I'm going to take Shane Lechler. I think one of the great things that Al Davis has always done is found a special teams guy. Ray Guy, first punter in the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying that Shane's going to get in there at some point, but I think Al knew what he was doing.
All right. We have our rosters now.
There it is. So there's our rosters, and you can probably see them right now. I'll just pretend like we can. All right, we're going to put these into Madden. Obviously, we've changed. We went home. We slept on it.
I was putting together a game plan for my guys for the last couple of days. Yeah.
Oh, is that Khalil Mack? I don't like seeing him in a Patriots uniform.
I'm sure you don't.
I don't like seeing him on kick coverage either.
He's like,
how did I lose the coin toss? I guess I'm at home.
Chuck Bednarik thinks this is normal.
Yeah, he was like, oh my God, Cordell
Patterson, like a flash,
wow.
Like a CP flash even.
That's one of the
starting out of the shotgun.
For use up. There it is. And I don't know why you
10 right now.
I don't know. Like Rodgers would have audibled out of a run.
I mean, so far the run game has not been great.
Yeah, I would try to avoid that if I were you. I don't think that the run is where. But then you're at a deficit because you have the inferior quarterback here. So
yeah, that's it.
I wonder
that's right.
Yeah, the RPO might not work here, pal. Nope, no catch.
Nope, but we just go downfield.
No,
that's a completion.
No.
Yes, sir. Oh, all day to throw. Okay, get rid of the ball though.
Look at this is classic Rodgers. That's classic Rodgers holding on to the ball for forever.
Oh,
this is. You know what? Madden gets it right because Rodgers holding the ball for 9 seconds is like perfect. Yeah, I don't know if Rodgers would be able. Like Russell Wilson should be given some sort of award for how well he plays while his coach is chewing gum in his ear.
Uh-oh. Roll out. A couple of spin moves.
What's he doing? What's he doing? Fumble! Yes! Go D! Go
Throw the ball!
Yes! Classic Rodgers. Buccaneers great. Tom Brady in a Patriots uniform. It's just a little weird to see.
Rolls off the tongue. Yeah.
Oh, Marshawn. Oof. Oh, we're going to run all day. I don't know. I keep getting directions from Hytham and I'm not paying it. Oh, my God. There is Marshawn Lynch again. Unstoppable.
This is disconcerting. Disconcerting. So one for Marshawn, one for Shady. Like this is not.
Of course. Shady.
That is accurate. Pressure on Brady there.
No, we got a good line. Oh, look at that time.
Here it comes. The pressure.
He checks. Oh, yeah.
Oh, make the tackle. Oh, wait. Did he fumble it? Did he fumble? Yes, sir.
I'm walking around. They got their little Toy Story. Oh, Rodgers, that's not going to work.
Wide open. Look at that throw.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't care that he fumbled earlier because it doesn't hurt his passer rating. So he's like, oh, I don't care. Fumbles don't matter to me. He would rather fumble 100 times than throw one interception. There's a nice check down to Megatron.
Yeah, that was the end of the first quarter.
This is worse than the Rams-Patriots Super Bowl. Come on. Get some
actually
fireworks
is.
going. Oh,
Uh-oh.
nice. Nice play. Oh, nice play.
Why that?
There's a. Oh,
Way too bad.
oh no! Travis Kelce, I'm assuming.
I mean, no one picked him up off the line of scrimmage. What happened?
You know what? I also have to say, I understand that Kelce also wears 87. I would have put him in a different number. Just out of deference and respect. I would have given him like 47 or whatever. Oh my God, there it is!
Oh,
Are you kidding? I knew. Listen, I knew that I had Julio and Larry Fitz. But Sproles.
Killing me. We can't sustain drives.
Well, that's on brand.
Ooh, play action. Why?
Oh my God. Rodgers getting one of his receivers killed. And here we go. Drop back.
Got time. Got time.
Come
Get
on.
rid of the ball.
Get up.
Get rid of the football.
Yes.
Throw the football.
This is Von Miller, baby.
Von
Miller. What up, dog? A lot of people will talk about, hey, Madden sometimes is a little unrealistic. Nope, Aaron Rodgers holding the ball this long is the most realistic part of this game. I love it.
Just standing like a statue and waiting for the pass rush to get there. Get him. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
No.
That's what I'm talking about. Attaboy, my first pick, Aaron Donald. Get him. Tackle. Tackle. Yes.
First down.
There you go. The offensive line is held up well. Rodgers has got to get rid of the ball. Nice
dang
move.
it. Oh, football!
Come on.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you serious?
I'm not one to question a 6-time Super Bowl winner, but what the heck? What
Come on,
the
get
heck?
there. Too much time. Oh! Nice play. Is that Revis? Don't challenge the island.
Oh, there's some pressure.
Throw it.
Get him. Love it. They were just happy that Rodgers had a positive play for a change. Get him.
12.
Get up.
Throw it, man.
Get him. Get him. Pick him.
Okay. At least 3 of these sacks are on Rodgers. Oh, showing blitz.
Oh, our
picked up.
We're gonna go deep. Deep ball.
He didn't catch that. No, he didn't catch that.
I want to start saying that I don't believe in gravity. Nah, that doesn't exist.
Hey, we're running the football.
Yeah.
Easily the best run of the day.
What is happening? No, you challenge an obvious. Stick him. There it is. Great play call there. Yeah, that was they threw up a play that they knew that Rodgers had to throw the ball within a half second. Like, let him do this. And
Throw the ball!
No!
Go!
Oh my gosh. That is unbelievable. We could have taken it to the end of the quarter. Could have gone into the fourth quarter. Here's Marshawn Lynch.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
All right, that should probably end the third quarter.
Let's destroy their will. Oh, Brady. I don't know if Brady's trying to kill the clock or he's just showing his age, but that. Oh, this should be open. Kelce.
Good coverage. Oh.
Pass interference.
Offense.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
Decline.
Wait.
Decline out of sportsmanship.
Oh wait, no, it's against the defense. Like they pointed the wrong direction.
I don't know what's happening.
They called it on Patrick Peterson, but he seems like he pointed the wrong way.
Our hard cam is on the other side of the field. So all right, yes. I would have declined it as
That's
a gentleman.
whack.
I would have declined it as a gentleman. But why are we? I can argue.
Where is our defense? What has happened?
There it is.
And why can't we cover Darren Sproles?
Let's see. On a team where Julio hasn't even gotten a target, Darren Sproles has been our leading receiver. All right, that's exactly how I would have drawn.
That
this
actually,
up. But
that also is actually sort of how Brady would work.
Yeah, that's exactly. I don't like. I can commiserate because we had Cutler for so long, and the only reason we won is because Cutler hurt his knee in the NFC Championship game. I would be a little bit upset, but whatever. Here we go, Tom Brady.
Get him! Get him! There we go.
Flag.
Out time.
That was a hit in the helmet. That was a little high. That was a little.
He ducked down. He ducked down.
I'm upset. I am literally livid. Oh, that was roughing the passer. If I've ever.
That was totally legal.
You're not allowed. Oh my gosh.
It was the back of the head. It's fine.
That's the penalty.
That's what the players decided.
This is an outrage.
Go. Big 3rd and 10.
Brady.
Oh, way too much time.
Get that.
Where's
first.
the middle? Oh my goodness. Where is the defense? Are you kidding me?
You know who's
killing 4th and 2.
You know who's killing?
We got a great spot. Oh, we got a favorable spot.
Sean McCoy is literally like he stops at the first. When we drafted these teams, and I was saying all those glowing things about LaShawn McCoy, I take them back. Out of the return guys, I think that Patterson has held his own today against Devin Hester. So for Cordero Patterson, I apologize. Nothing personal. Looking back on it, I got so scared because you were starting to think outside the box. I'm like, oh man, I should take Gronk first. But because you should just send Gronk over our way since Rodgers is not using him, but there's a screen. Oh, there you go.
4 yards. Let's go. Come on, we're down 2 scores. We got to hurry up.
There we go. Rodgers under center. Why not? Wow.
We cannot go 3 and out here, guys.
Please punt this football.
Oh my goodness.
This is fun. Oh my gosh. I love how they just for no reason throwing off the back foot. This is the right call here.
Out. Oh, we are going for it. Okay. All right. Let's go 12. Make something happen.
Oh my gosh. Gotta go.
There it is.
Yes, not like the real stuff we're watching here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a big play right there.
Oh, there it is. Hey, there's Antonio Brown making plays. All right, spread the field.
There, okay. Hey. Oh, Oh my God. Earl Thomas. Odds better because you could go to overtime and lose. Like, shut up.
Wait, are we onside kicking? We are attempting an onside kick.
What? Still a lot.
That wasn't even close.
A lot of time left. I think we have Marshawn in as a fullback. No, it's Marshawn Lynch, baby. First down.
That hurts.
Dude.
That hurts. That hurts a lot.
You know what though? I think that this is classic Belichick, and I know that people thankfully we can cut this up in highlights. And they watch it, and like this is what Belichick would have done. He would have said, "Listen, we don't have to extend ourselves too much because we know that Aaron Rodgers can't beat us."
Well, this was fun.
This was fun, yeah. Hey, everybody, make sure that you like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And by the way, I have my own YouTube channel at Adam Rank NFL. You can subscribe to that as well. Marcus, do you have one?
I don't, but I'll just pretend that I do. You can go to Marcas G and look at old stuff that I posted from years ago.